Hey guys, this is a really unusual watch. It's got things that it ships with that I've never seen before. What you're about to see in this unboxing first look video is just that. About 11 minutes worth of an unboxing, so skip ahead if you don't want that. And then we're really going to dive into the watch and how it works right out of the box with nothing extra added. Things like this, I'm going to have to cover this in a part 2. So I'm working on it. I'm going to get you more information. We're going to do some full testing and all that kind of stuff. We're going to try to understand how in the world this thing is sealed so darn good. And yeah, I'll drop it underwater for you, but not today. That's coming up, part 2. Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. We're a YouTube channel on the web at smartwatchticks.com. It is an exciting day today. This is a day many of you have been asking for, the unveiling of the newest Android standalone smartwatch phone from a company we have never worked with before called ROLLME. This is the S08 inside this sealed box, directly from the factory, mind you. One of the first ones, I believe, off the production line. It still could be a prototype in here. It's so early. A lot of challenges trying to get these things shipped during the era of the coronavirus. We'll explain why in a little bit, but if you're going to get one of these, you're going to want to be patient. That's one of the biggest words to tell you. ROLLME, born to be different. Wow, it's kind of like born to be wild. I grew up in that generation. Here we go. The S08, the manual is on the top, and underneath is the watch, which looks like it's upside down. There you go. We got the camera on the top. It says ROLLME right on the piece of paper covering. And inside is the watch itself. And before I show you any more, I want to tell you where you can get it. Because some of you I know are going, now, I want to get it now. Where's the buy button? It's right below in the show notes from Banggood. And I'm getting this out as fast as I can because in June 2020, gosh, where did 2019 go? 2020 June, where we are right now, they're going to be doing some great sales and specials. So it's already a really nice price for flash sale. The prices go up and down, but check the show notes for a clickable link to take you over here to pick this thing up at that price or lower, okay? Notice that? Yep, there's something else that goes with it, and that has to do with the battery power in this combination, 3560 milliamp hours. Yep. There's a lot more to the specs, and we can talk about it right now. There's a few highlights of this watch. One is that excessive power capability. A second one that sets it apart is its waterproofing. Now, they're claiming in this, as you read through the specs, they're claiming in this that it's doing IP68. We've seen a lot of watches out of China claim IP67, IP68. They call it life waterproof or life splash proof, those kind of things. But you know, you don't get it wet. That's just the bottom line. They're really not made for immersion in water, even though the IP67 spec says you can. Well, the claim for this one, and you're going to see that in a minute, is that this thing can be submerged up to 48 hours and to a depth of 50 meters. Now, when you do research on the specs, what that means, it's rated at 5 ATM, because 50 meters is the equivalent of 5 atmospheric pressures at the surface of the Earth, I think. Anyway, it's a spec that says that darn thing is definitely swimmable, diveable, all kinds of stuff. You still probably don't want to shower with it because there is a temperature rating on it that you don't want to go beyond. Here's another little page because everybody's asking, what are the sizes of these things? Sometimes we get the micrometers out and measure them, but I'm just going to show you. It's about 50 millimeters long, the watch itself. Here's the straps, and what you need to know is that it's 24 millimeters for the strap itself, I believe, and 18.5 millimeters thick for the watch. And there's that waterproofing. IP68, yeah, it kind of fits in that category, but it's actually even more intense, being a 5 ATM. That's what I would be rating it, but maybe they aren't actually saying that because of the complications of getting that kind of certification or whatever. But anyway, it is available from Banggood. Check the show notes for the link. And now let's dive into the unboxing. We took the watch out. We take that out. We've got a couple of little boxes here inside. In one of these is, wow, a bunch of stuff. Whoa, okay. There's a charging wire with the 4-pin connector, standard charging wire, which on the back of the watch, we'll take it apart. You'll see the back of it. That's where you would put that. Here is something else. Let's open this up. This is just standard. Whoa, is it? Oh, no, I thought it was a USB-C, but it's your standard micro USB connector. I presume that's going to be to charge the dock. This one, of course, is going to be to charge the watch directly. What else is in my hand? I have no idea. Okay, a lot of things are going through. Most of them I can't say on television. We'll set that aside for a moment. I definitely need to study this. Oh, this is heavy. I bet this is the power dock. The extra. Yeah. Beefy thing. Look at that. Huh. Yeah. Obviously, the watch is going to sit in the power dock. I guess it's time we take the back open. Oh, you're going to look at this back. It's an amazing back. Well, a little light magnetic covering here. Yeah, not terribly strong, but it does hold on there. I'd say you have to be careful to line the pins up. Make sure that it snaps into position. But there's the charging dock. Yeah, it's already going on, feeding into the watch. Look, and it's booting it up, or at least giving us a reading of the power level. So you charge this by your bedside, let's say, and then this can charge your watch by the bedside overnight. And of course, you could take that with you or whatever. And with this wire, you can charge directly, and that holds a little bit stronger. Not enough to hold the watch, but it holds pretty good. Okay, still not sure about this, but let's go over the watch itself. The bezel is really, really nice. Bright, reflective, plain. There's no indicators on it. The bands themselves, 24 millimeter, did we say, are removable, of course. It's got some weight to it. It's got a thick battery in there. That's another aspect of this. The 1360 milliamp hour battery inside, 2200 milliamp hour here for 3560 milliamp hour total. 2 buttons, a side camera, no front camera, but forward-facing camera, and another little hole, which could either be a microphone or a sensor or something. Yeah, we'll have to find that out when we turn it on. Looks like speakers are on the side. You see something that's missing? And I wondered about this. Where do you put the SIM in? Oh, SIM. Okay, now it's starting to make sense. I wonder if I put that in there and that in there, I could unscrew the back. It looks like, yep, here's an open close, and that's how you get to the SIM compartment. And that is really sealed well, and that's why you have such incredible waterproofing on this watch. Wow. Really, really flexible bands. I know, he hasn't even turned it on. What is wrong with him? I like trying this out. We're not going to see something brand new like this for a while. So this is whole new. Oh, look at that. It's even got embossed ROLLME on the buckle itself. There it is on without turning it on. It does appear a bit thick. It's a bit large. So it is on the larger size overall, but that's to contain that massive battery in there. Now we are going to charge it up because I wanted to have a nice full charge before we move forward. Oh, almost forgot the user's manual. Chinese on one side, and on the other side we have the English version of it. Gives you the basic information and about what happens during first boot. which is pretty cool, and you can get everything set up right. If you guys are ready and you have already downloaded the WearOS Watch 2 app to your phone, which I highly recommend, then during first boot, you can actually connect up to your phone with that app. Here's the whole information about how to do the SIM card installation and charging the watch. I'm glad we found it out on our own before we had to check the manual. Here's some more details, a little bit more. And as many of you who've watched the channel before know, I always show the manuals because oftentimes you can't find these anywhere else. They don't make PDFs of them available in China. And if you lose yours, well, you could be out of luck. And there may be some things that you need to know that are in the manual, either that I don't cover when we're going through this stuff, or that you need to refer back to later for background information. So I'm not reading it to you. I'm just doing it so that you can pause it on YouTube and read it at your leisure. And that lets us move on. Top button, long press. That's how you turn these Android watches on. As this one boots up, I want to mention, as a flagship already, out the door, a flagship watch with insane waterproofing and massive battery. This compares really well with the Kospet Prime. We've seen that one before, which also has a side camera and a forward-facing camera, but that forward-facing is on the right. This one has it up at the top. And then there's the Chronos Blade Genesis, of course, which has the front-facing camera on the left and a side-facing camera on the top. So layout of the cameras is really different on a lot of these watches. So is the battery capacity inside of them. When you boot it up the first time, you're going to confirm your language, and just so you guys know what it comes with, we'll take a moment to scroll through all of the installed languages. I know many of you watch from all over the planet, and thank you so much for being here. Even when English isn't your first language, you're able to communicate with us over here, and I really appreciate you being here. And of course, Banggood ships all over the world, so no matter where you live, you should be able to order this watch and have it shipped to you. And it's covering a lot of languages, way more than I've seen in many of these watches in the past. So I can feel some of you jumping up and down right now going, I see my language, awesome! Wow, look at this. Very robust. Now, an interesting thing, these language sets, it takes a while to develop them and put them in these watches. And so the fact that we're seeing all of this right now in here is an indicator that in the future, look at all the different versions of English. In the future, watches will be coming out this way as well. Let's see, English, United Kingdom, United States. So it's preset for United States where it sent me this. I come in here and I have my data that I can enter in metric, not imperial. Sometimes the firmware gives you a choice before it gets to this point, so you can change it, but in this case it goes right to there. I'm not going to change it because from the tutorial we've shown you about how to set these watches up, you don't want to do any of this stuff at first. You want to go all the way past all of this. This is where you tether it to the WearOS 2 app on your phone. You want to get to where you get your first watch face. You want to slide over, go into settings. You with me now? Again, this has already been covered in another video, but I want to show you that we go to reset equipment and you come down here and you do factory data reset. Do that the very first thing, just so you can clear out any old stuff in the watch. Then there's a process on that video that guides you through how you eventually get onto Wi-Fi and then come down in here and check for wireless update. It won't do it unless you're actually connected to the internet. So checking it will tell you you need a network setup and you got to go on Wi-Fi. So after you do that whole first reboot cycle, you're going to want to come in, set up your Wi-Fi, check for updates. If you have any, accept them, and then go through that whole process again of factory restore before you settle down and actually use your watch. Not going to do that here. But I just want you to be aware that when you get any Android smartwatch, it's good to follow that setup review. I'll have a link for you in the show notes to check it out. So let's walk through it real quick. Here we go. We're in the home screen. It's edge to edge, beautiful, bright screen. It's a TFT type screen, not AMOLED, but TFT, but it's got really great contrast, really bright. You tap and hold like we did, and you get into the different watch faces it comes with, and it looks like it's got quite a selection of them. Yeah, there's a very colorful one. You can see from edge to edge that it's brightest face on, but it is easy to view from different angles. And just quickly look at a few different ones. Some of these we've seen, in fact, a lot of them we've seen on other watches, and also from the server that you can pull these watches down from China on their built-in server, which you access at the very end. Wow, wow. Right here, you hit that plus button when you're on the internet, and you'll get a bunch of more watch faces that you can instantly install. And of course, this thing resets all of them to clean everything up. You always want to go back and do that. That's a good practice. I saw one I liked that I want to land on. Where was that? It was a nice looking digital one. Was that it? Maybe. I don't know. Let's just pick that green one because it's got a lot of data on it. So you see you can have so many different things built into these watch faces. I know I cheated. I haven't charged it 100%, but I'm too excited to show you this review. Wow, it's timing out fast on me. We're going to have to change that. When you slide down, you get to the first screen, which shows you Bluetooth connection if you have it. And if you have a SIM in here, it should show you 4G, 3G, all that kind of stuff. Your battery level, date, time, all that. Over here is where you have all these different settings. This is your brightness level. There's the dimmest, and that's super dim. Wow, I can barely see it in daylight. So at night, that'll be very soft. There's the middle. There's your brightest. We're running it on brightest right now. This is the do not disturb quiet mode. By the way, if you don't like that annoying boot up sound on any of these Android watches, turn that on before you turn your watch off. Then the next time you turn it on, it'll boot in silence. Little trick. Speaking of little tricks, we're going to start a new playlist with little 1-minute tips and tricks for you soon. This is your twist your wrist to see the time, airplane mode, cellular data, location services for GPS, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi. Wow, look at that. It's already coming in to set up a nearby Chromecast. Oh, wow, fun. But I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to turn Wi-Fi on to get it ready because later I'm going to connect to my router. You got that cleanup thing that, I don't know, it just cleans up background junk, a music player, and then ultimately your weather in your current location after you're signed onto the internet and connected in, and it figures out where you are. That's all from swiping down, right? Swiping to the left are notifications, swiping to the right, swiping that way gets you to this page, and there's your app drawer, and swiping one more gets you into all of your different fitness activities. Then swiping up gets you to your weekly summary for step count. Here you go to your actual steps, distance traveled, and calories burned. That's standard on all of these Android watches. So the only thing different so far is what it looks like over here in the apps. And you have this arc design, and you also have the ability, when we get down here to, where is it? Settings, I guess. It's going to be within settings. We're going to go to app list style and change to round. And then you have all of your pages that look like this. Okay, all of your apps are in circles around a clock that shows you the current time. But I typically run this in arc because it makes it easier for us to go through all of these. We'll go back to the settings and go deeper in a moment. Actually, we want to go into settings right now for one thing, and that's to go into display and change the sleep time from 15 seconds. I'll pump it all the way up to 30 minutes. Notice there's no always time display. Some of the earlier watches in 2018, 2019, you had an always on display capability. You don't have it in this TFT designed watch, but you do have a nice bright screen. Let's just stick in here. Sounds is basically where you can change your volume, and of course, ringtones and other alarms and things are there. You saw display. You have the brightness level that you can adjust to whatever you want. If you don't want just those increments, you can slide it right here and adjust it. Come back. Notification bright screen, that if you have any notifications coming in from your phone, it'll light up the screen, which you may want off if you're going to sleep with it in bed or have it on your bedside and don't want to be interrupted. App list style, the connection is where you set up your Bluetooth Wi-Fi. You can make this a Wi-Fi hotspot. We got that big battery in here, and you got that booster thing too, so it's possible with the proper SIM in here that runs on the GSM network that you can create a Wi-Fi hotspot for your tablet or something and have enough juice to run it with all these multiple batteries. And of course, if you have it plugged in, no problem at all. Just be careful if you run a hotspot, monitor the heat, because sometimes these watches get pretty hot when you do that. You've got airplane mode on and off. GPS is where you turn all of that stuff on, and then cellular networks is kind of grayed out, but that's where you set up, if you need to, special parameters to make sure your SIM card works. You've got your overall gestures for raising twisting the wrist to light up the screen or turning on or off pedometer. Overall power savings here. Now it's showing you that it's using standby intelligent power and what its time duration is and what's been used the most, which is so far just the screen. It's always the screen is the highest use thing. So when you can, try to run it on low light and try to keep the battery, the refresh rate short, like 15 seconds, not 30 minutes like I'm doing here. Your language and inputs, we already showed you the language, date and time setup. Resetting the equipment, that's where you're going to do that factory restore in between everything. And here you go to uninstall applications, and you actually have a lot more in here than just uninstall. You can get in here, you can force stop applications, you can go into the storage, and you can clear data or clear cache if you need to for any app. You can set up permissions, which is really important. On many apps, you need to turn on certain permissions. That's all done in that uninstall application. So don't let it confuse you. It does a lot more than just uninstall. Speaking of more, here's this section here. An important point I'll just make right now, I do it in a lot of the videos, is background cleaner. You want to tap that, make sure it's on, tap it, and bring up any apps that you've installed. Now, if you have apps that need to run in the background, turn them off at this point. Otherwise, every time you close the screen, they're going to be cut off completely. And we do run some special apps from time to time that do need that permission. So just remember, it's called Background Cleaner, and it's hidden here. Now, this is also where you find Face Unlock and your screen lock settings. And yes, with the front-facing camera and all these modern Android watches, you can have a face recognition thing that will unlock the watch when you just simply raise your wrist and point it to your face. First, you have to set a pattern lock in the screen unlock settings. After that, you take a picture, follow the directions, and we have a video all on about face unlock, and it will set it up for you so that you can do that. And of course, you can toggle it on and off from here. You have a bunch of other things here. System work mode is important. Keep it normal if you want to get longer battery life, cooler running watch, and all your apps functioning normally. If you're going to be gaming or something really intensive, you can switch it to performance. But monitor your battery heat in the heat of the app, and also watch how fast your battery drains. If you want to save that humongous battery to get a lot longer life out of it, keep that turned to the normal. You got other things, app freeze, storage, RAM is all listed in here, data server is on, lots and lots of things in that more section inside of settings. So we covered that now. Contacts, phone, and messaging has to do with the phone SIM inside the card. When we took this off and put in a data compatible and phone compatible SIM, in the USA that's AT&T or T-Mobile that use the GSM network that these watches run on. They're not universal like your phone that you can use Verizon and Sprint and everybody else, CDMA and all these other acronyms. It's pretty restrictive, but it is 4G. The antennas, no longer in the bands, are folded over inside the watch itself. So contacts, phone, and messaging have to do with the internal SIM, not Bluetooth tethering to your phone. None of these Android 7 watches will allow you to call and answer from the watch the calls that come into your phone, okay? That's called Bluetooth calling. They only work with the SIM separately in the watch. I know, a lot of you wish it would do the other. So do we. The older ones did. Back in Android 5.1, watches could do Bluetooth calling as well. They were called dual mode, but not anymore. They're trying to fix that, but it hasn't happened yet. Basic browser is in here, downloads, if you download things. You have a simple calendar in here. It doesn't do much. It just shows you a little calendar. Clock is where you have your stopwatch and alarms that you can set. And we get to the cameras. This is another whole area now. They're talking about the two cameras on this both being 8 megapixel cameras. You ready to go into this? Let's launch it first of all and show you the side camera, which is over here. You see my fingers wiggling. I am going to take a picture of my fingers there, and I'm going to tap it, and I'm going to bring it up. So we're going to take a look at the size. Oh, okay, I got 3 dots down here. I can say details, and it says it's 2448 by 3264, which when you multiply that out is 8 megapixels. What that means is it's a 5 megapixel element in here that's been up interpolated. It means it's been expanded of sorts to an 8 megapixel picture size. So indeed, the side camera is 8 megapixels. Okay, come back here. This is when I get to do my little cameo. Gosh, I didn't comb my hair or anything. Oh, it's a mess. Hi, everybody. We're doing the front-facing camera. You see it's a square around it, so it knows it's got a face, which is why face recognition works so well and so easy. I'm going to take my smiling face. Well, I wasn't smiling, I was talking. There I am. Hit the button again. Do details. There you go. It's indeed 8 megapixels. So what they're saying in their advertisement is correct. Both the cameras are 8 megapixel cameras. That's really nice to see that they're honest about what they're putting out there. We have seen others that have claimed to be 8 and have been as low as 640 by 480. Believe it or not, I think that's the LEM12. Really crazy stuff. Not anywhere near what they claim, but this is great. So what about pinch and zoom related to camera images? Well, let's take a look. This one does things differently. A lot of times you can double tap to zoom a little more, double tap to return, and then there's pinch and zoom. Watch this now. Here's some text. Here's a picture of that text taken with the side camera like this. And I've got it here. I can double tap. Whoops, didn't do it. The first one unlocked the screen. It's always that way. You got to kind of unlock it and then you can double tap. There we go. We zoomed in and there's the text. Very readable. There's that photograph right there. Double tap again and it goes all the way back. So it's one deep level of zoom. However, with 2 fingers, thumbs, whatever, you do have pinch and zoom capability. But it's a little sporadic. It's a little challenging to do it, but you can get in there really, really close because of the 8 megapixel capability. Again, 5 megapixels up interpolated, so you can kind of see the edging around the words. You do have the ability to take a photograph of a large document and be able to call it up and read it. Okay? Double tap, and you go back again. This is the side-facing camera. Here is the front-facing camera. Same thing, double tap, and I'm in. To me, that looks a little bit clearer. Now, it might just be I held the watch more steady in this one, but there's that one, and then there's that one. Little bit fuzzier, I think. But I'm pretty sure the cameras are identical. But that's the front-facing camera held upside down and then feeling for the button to take the picture. Not an easy thing to do. Pinch and zoom, even from this point, we can zoom in Pretty darn close. So very impressive camera on this watch. Galleries where you see those pictures, you got a music player on board to play music you install, and the 32 gigabytes in here. That's different than a remote music player that you can play music on your phone. That comes later where it's tethered. A basic sound recorder. File manager is kind of where you navigate around inside the watch to see things. Clock skin is a folder where you drop in third-party watch faces that you want to use on your watch. It's in that clock skin folder. Got a bunch of other folders and things in here. And this is where you'd put your music or movies. And you can see we still have 25 gigabytes of space left. A little over 6, almost 7 gigabytes is taken up by the operating system and apps and other things. And that's all right here in File Manager. You have a heart rate monitor. Now, this is interesting because you don't really see that big heart rate diode thing on the back. It's been reduced to a little point right here. Now, theoretically, you can get a heartbeat off of any part of your body. It's ideal if you wear it on your wrist, somewhat tight, not too loose, but not too tight to choke yourself. But you should be able to get it off your finger, which I'm doing right now, getting 77, 78. It logged in at 81 when it first came in, and now it's settling down after it's getting multiple samples. So whenever you do your heart rate, give it about a 30 seconds or so to a minute to settle down so that you're getting a true accurate one, not the very first thing that comes up. Heart rate's there. Fitness, which is the same thing when we slide all the way over here. These are your different fitness activities. You can get to that from here as well. And you see the 3 dots at the top? This is a giveaway that this is the advanced version of the fitness app that allows you to see whatever records you have and to turn on GPS positioning, which will integrate GPS with the fitness app. So when you're doing outdoor runs or walks or cycling, you'll be getting accurate distance measurements from the GPS itself. And of course, you have all these other sports that are token and included in here anyway. That's fitness. Weather's where you can set up weather wherever you want. Voice search is the same as the OK trigger word Google kind of thing. You can actually do a little bit more than just search. But what I recommend on these is you install the Google Assistant, set that whole thing up so that you can really use all of the features of the Google Assistant. There's the Play Store, and we're going to get into a little thing about the Play Store in actually the first installment of our new tips and tricks thing. You see here it is, and you can't even see the icon over here. Later, you're going to find if you try to log into the Play Store, you're going to get so far putting in your information, but you won't be able to hit the accept button down at the bottom. So press and hold here, tap that little circle, come back out, and it's going to be inside a square. Now you see all the things you couldn't see before are here, okay? When you've done whatever you need to do, reverse that, and now it fills in the square. I skip that a lot, and that seems to be where everybody gets hung up. It's not just on the Play Store. It happens in Maps. It happens in a lot of them. This assistant is not the Google Assistant. This is a folder for how you connect to the phone. There's that QR code that when you have the WearOS 2 app running and it's looking for with a window for you to scan something in, that's the scanning thing that you use. Once you're connected, you have all these other things. You can use the watch to remote capture pictures on your phone. Music control, that's the remote music control where you use the watch to play, stop, forward music that's playing from your phone. And one of the cool things you can do if you use your phone at the same time is have your earbuds tethered to your phone to receive phone calls from your phone. Use the music control to play the music on your phone to hear it through your earbuds, okay? When you're not using your phone, tether your earbuds to the watch, take this out, use the other music control to play the music that you put on your watch into your earbuds. Lots of things you can do. Here you can send files back and forth to your phone, and of course you can find your phone when you're tethered to it. We're not going to tether today. We've done many times. In fact, there's a whole standalone review of the WearOS 2 app, And that's all covered in a different video, and just watch that if you need that information. System optimization is a lot of the stuff we've already shown you in settings brought up to a surface level for things like that clean task, that battery saver thing that we were talking about, that you want to go in here and turn off the third-party apps that you need to keep them running in the background. Screen lock is here, and your face unlock. We saw those. Third-party app adapters. This is something, and it's deeper in the settings, that allows things like in your browser for you to see some of the stuff that you don't see clearly. It just tweaks things a little bit. The system work mode, remember we talked about that. Keep it in normal. Don't go to performance unless you're running something that requires it. App freeze is a way you can freeze some apps that are running and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then App Store is a different type of a store than the Play Store. This has copies of Facebook and WhatsApp and those kind of apps that you can download directly if you don't have a Google account or don't want to use one or aren't connected up, logged into the Google Play Store. You can still get some of the basic apps from the App Store. And that's it for the stock apps. This is right out of the box, folks. I haven't set it up like I usually do with a lot of other stuff. We'll try to do that in a little bit later for you. I just wanted to show you a clean view of what the watch looks like. So that's pretty much it. We will cover a whole lot more on this, including the waterproofing, the SIM installation, and more. But for getting this out, for getting you guys aware of it, we want to push this out the door right now while Banggood's got their insane sales stuff going on in June 2020. Check the show notes for the buying link for the ROLLME S08. A big shout out to ROLLME, the company themselves, who actually sent out this product directly, to Banggood for sponsoring and supporting us with this, and to you in particular for watching these videos, giving us a thumbs up, a like when you can, subscribing if you can, because that's what keeps the cycle going, and that's what inspires me to do what I love, and that's review smartwatches. We will see you again very soon. We've got a lot more to show you about the S08, including comparisons with the Genesis and the Prime and the Thor 5 Pro and all the other flagship watches. Wow, it's going to be a great summer. Now a little teaser. This, of course, is one of Alrod's faces, one of my favorites. It shows that we have active animation, and it does work on this watch. We also have, coming up in part 2, a deeper look at active touch buttons on watch faces, which actually work really well on this watch as well.